T.I. is done. The man they used to call the King of the South has gone completely silent. People online are literally making entire songs asking if he's still alive. The internet hasn't heard from Tip in so long. Folks started filing missing person reports as memes. And what just surfaced has the whole culture spinning. Because this isn't just about one rapper going quiet. This is about a legacy unraveling in real time. Everybody thought they knew the T.I. story. Grammy-winning rapper. Self-proclaimed King of the South. The man who put trap music on the map before half these new artists even knew what a trap house was. Rubber band man. Whatever you like. Live your life. Hit after hit after hit. A reality TV empire with Tiny. A family brand. A whole movement out of Atlanta. That was the version everybody repeated for years. But now, something shifted. And it didn't shift quietly. It shifted with diss tracks, lawsuits, family feuds spilling onto the internet. His own son going to war on social media. A $71 million verdict that got slashed down to nothing. A retirement announcement nobody asked for. And a pivot to stand-up comedy that has half the internet confused and the other half laughing. But not with him. The whole narrative is twisting. And once you see the full picture, you'll understand why people online are dead serious when they say, "Somebody check on T.I." Let me break this down piece by piece. Because this situation has layers. And the deeper you go, the wilder it gets. So it all really started bubbling when this track went viral. You might have already heard it. Somebody made a whole song. And I'm talking a full production, not some throwaway freestyle. Literally asking the internet, has anybody heard from Tip? The lyrics are brutal. It's been a while since he said some. And then they start listing everything. No buzz, no replies. Memes keeping his name alive more than his music does. Bars about him capping. Bars about him not sliding. Bars about his family. And the wildest part, the hook is literally someone singing, "Somebody please check on T.I. I think that he died." Now obviously, nobody's saying the man literally passed away. But the metaphor hits different when you think about it. Because in hip-hop, if your buzz dies, if your relevance dies, if nobody's checking for your music anymore, you might as well be invisible. And that's exactly what people online are saying about Tip right now. Fans turned into full-blown investigators on this one. They started pulling up his social media metrics, comparing his engagement numbers from 5 years ago to now. And the drop-off is steep. We're talking posts that used to pull hundreds of thousands of interactions, now barely cracking a few thousand. His last few musical releases didn't chart, didn't trend, didn't even generate a real conversation. People on Reddit literally made threads titled "Did T.I. fall off?" And the comment section was not kind. One user wrote, and I'm paraphrasing here, "T.I. built the entire foundation Atlanta rap stood on from the mid-2000s to the late 2010s, and somehow got written out of the conversation entirely." That's a real quote from the hip-hop subreddit, and it had hundreds of upvotes. Then you've got the music side of things. It's been over 5 years since T.I. dropped a proper rap album. 5 years, in an era where artists are dropping projects every few months to stay relevant. Tip went ghost. No singles gaining traction. No features anybody's replaying. No viral moments tied to his bars. The music just stopped mattering to the mainstream. And the internet noticed. Oh, they noticed. TikTok creators started doing "Where Are They Now?" style breakdowns on T.I. like he's a retired athlete from the 90s. YouTube commentators started ranking him in rappers who fell off the hardest lists. And that viral diss track, it wasn't even from a major artist. It was from regular people online who just felt like the King of the South had abdicated his throne, and nobody bothered to announce it. Check this out though. Some folks online even dug into his streaming numbers. On Spotify, his monthly listeners have reportedly dropped dramatically from his peak. The old catalog still gets plays. People love Whatever You Like and Live Your Life at cookouts. But the new stuff, it's not moving the needle. Fans swear the algorithm itself forgot about T.I. And when the algorithm forgets you, that's when you know the culture has moved on. But here's the thing that really made people raise their eyebrows. While all this was happening, while the memes were flying, while the diss track was circulating, while people were genuinely asking where this man went, T.I. made an announcement. And it wasn't a comeback album. It wasn't a tour. It wasn't even a new single. He announced he was retiring from performing and pivoting to stand-up comedy. Yeah, let that sit for a second. Now let's get into the WHY. Because this is where everything starts clicking into place. And honestly, it paints a picture that's equal parts fascinating and tragic. T.I., Clifford Joseph Harris Jr., was once untouchable. We're talking about a man who sold over 10 million albums in the United States alone. 3 Grammy Awards, multiple platinum records. He pioneered an entire subgenre. When people say trap music, they're literally talking about a sound T.I. helped build from the ground up in Bankhead, Atlanta. His album Trap Music in 2003 wasn't just a project, it was a cultural blueprint. At his peak, Tip was pulling in millions per year. Album sales, tours, brand deals, acting roles, reality television with VH1. The T.I. and Tiny franchise was a machine. And then you add in his label, Grand Hustle Records, which helped launch careers. The man was an empire, but empires crack. And T.I. started cracking from multiple angles. First, the legal troubles, and not small ones. We're talking federal weapons charges that landed him in prison. Twice. The first time in 2009, then again in 2010 for violating his probation. That's years of momentum. Gone. And in hip-hop, momentum is everything. While Tip was locked up, the sound moved. New artists filled the space he left. Atlanta kept evolving without its king. Then came the financial hits. Reports surfaced that T.I. was slapped with a massive $2 million tax lien from the IRS. $2 million the government said he owed. And this was around the same time he was dealing with a federal settlement over a bogus cryptocurrency venture. The SEC came after him for promoting a fraudulent digital coin. He ended up paying a $75,000 fine and agreeing not to sell or market similar securities for 5 years. That's not a good look for a man who branded himself as the smartest hustler in the room. And here's where the money narrative gets really interesting. In 2024, T.I. and Tiny won a massive $71 million verdict against MGA Entertainment, the company behind those LOL surprise dolls. The lawsuit alleged that MGA ripped off the look of Tiny's OMG Girls group for their doll line. $71 million. That's a generational wealth type of win. But hold on, because in 2025, a judge slashed that number. The $53 million in punitive damages got thrown out entirely. The award was reduced from $71 million down to roughly $18 million. That's a $53 million haircut overnight. And reports say even that $18 million figure is being contested. So the big payday that allegedly inspired T.I. to retire from performing, it got chopped by more than 70%. Think about it. The man literally told TMZ, and this was covered everywhere, that he was retiring from performing because he didn't need the money anymore after that verdict. He said, and I quote, "I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want people booking me." He framed it as a victory lap. He'd won. He was done sweating on stage. He was going to focus on movies and comedy. But then the verdict got slashed. And suddenly, that retirement doesn't look like a victory lap anymore. It looks like a man who bet on a payday that got yanked from under him. And now, he's left standing in the middle of a comedy club, doing open mics, while the rap world moves on without him. His estimated net worth sits around $30 million, according to Celebrity Net Worth. That sounds like a lot, but in the world of elite hip-hop, where Drake is worth $260 million, where 50 Cent, his current rival, is sitting on $150 million, $30 million starts looking modest, especially when you factor in tax liens, legal fees, and a lifestyle built for a much bigger number. That kind of fall-off hits different. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly. The bookings dry up. The features stop coming. The label deals expire. The TV show doesn't get renewed. And before you know it, you're the punchline of a viral song asking if you're still alive. And people online picked up on all of this. They started connecting the dots. The retirement, the financial setbacks, the comedy pivot, the silence. And the conclusion a lot of folks reached is that T.I. didn't retire because he wanted to. He retired because the game retired him. And the comedy thing? That's not a pivot. That's a survival play. Now, is that the full truth? Nobody knows for sure. But that's the narrative the internet is running with. And in 2026, perception is reality. But here's the part that really hits different. Because behind all the memes, behind all the clowning and the diss tracks and the Reddit threads, there are real people caught up in this. Tiny Harris, Tamika Cottle, a woman who had her own career before she ever met T.I. She was in Xscape, one of the biggest R&B groups of the 90s. She had her own legacy, her own name, her own accomplishments, And now, she's become a punchline in a rap beef she didn't start. When the 50 Cent situation erupted in early 2026, and we'll get deep into that in a minute, 50 didn't just come for T.I. He came for the whole family. Tiny's appearance became a meme. Her looks became a target. And the internet has no mercy. People ran with it. Screenshots, comparisons, jokes that crossed every line imaginable. And for what? Because her husband had words with another rapper? That's somebody's wife, somebody's mother. And she's trending not for her music, not for her business moves, not for her talent, but because she's being weaponized in a feud between two men with egos the size of skyscrapers. And then there's King Harris, T.I.'s son, a young man who's been in the public eye since he was a child, growing up on reality television with cameras documenting every awkward phase and family argument. When the 50 Cent beef spilled over, King jumped in. He went at 50 on social media. Hard. He called 50 out. He posted about 50's late mother. He and his brother Domani both dropped diss tracks aimed at 50 Cent. And people online ate up. They turned it into content, into clips, into reaction videos. But let's keep it real. That's a young man defending his family the only way he knows how. He watched his mother get dragged across the internet. He watched his father become the subject of mockery. And he responded the way any kid raised in the spotlight might respond. Loudly, emotionally, and publicly. T.I. himself reportedly checked his son afterward. Billboard reported that Tip told King to pull back, that he didn't want his kids dragged into the middle of this. But by then, the internet already had its content. The screenshots were saved. The clips were re-uploaded. The damage was done. And that's the part that doesn't make it into the memes. The human cost. A family watching their name get dissected in real time by millions of strangers. A mother getting mocked for how she looks. A son getting clowned for defending his parents. A father watching his legacy get reduced to a diss track hook. That's not entertainment. That's pain dressed up as content. Now, let me walk you through the situation that poured gasoline on everything. Because if T.I. was quietly fading from relevance, 50 Cent made sure the whole world noticed. The T.I. versus 50 Cent beef has officially been called the first blockbuster feud in hip-hop in 2026. Billboard ran a full timeline on it. Complex did a complete history breakdown. Every major outlet covered it. And it didn't start with a diss track. It started with a conversation. In early February 2026, T.I. appeared on Shannon Sharpe's show Nightcap alongside Chad Okosinko, and he started rattling 50 Cent's cage. Again, see, this tension goes back years, all the way back to when T.I. kept pushing for a Versus battle with 50, and 50 kept saying no. Back in 2021, when Versus was at its peak, T.I. publicly called for the matchup, and 50 Cent basically told him to stay away. Respectfully, but firmly. The message was clear. 50 didn't see Tip as being on his level. That ate at T.I. You could tell, because he kept bringing it up, in interview after interview. And finally, in 2026, on Nightcap, he said enough to trigger the avalanche. 50 Cent responded the way 50 Cent always responds. Not with a polite rebuttal, not with a measured statement, with trolling. Industrial grade, weapons grade trolling. He went after T.I.'s career. He went after T.I.'s relevance. And then he went after Tiny. The memes started flying from 50's own social media accounts. He posted mocking images. He made jokes about the family. He turned the whole thing into a spectacle. And then came the music. Reports confirmed that 50 dropped a scathing track referencing T.I. and his entire family. The song was tied to his Power, Origins project, the latest installment in his television empire. Complex reported that 50 used the track to throw shade at both Tip and Tiny, and the internet lost its mind. T.I. fired back. He dropped War, a direct diss aimed at 50 Cent. He dropped What Bully, another one. He dropped Right One. 3 diss tracks in rapid succession. He wasn't playing around. He came with bars. He came with energy. And for a brief moment, it felt like the old T.I. was back. The King of the South with something to prove. But here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. The diss tracks didn't move the needle the way they should have. They didn't chart. They didn't dominate the conversation the way a Drake diss or a Kendrick response would. The rap community acknowledged them, but they didn't shift the power dynamic. 50 Cent kept trolling. kept posting, kept getting the engagement, and T.I.'s responses, as passionate as they were, felt like a man swinging at a ghost. Meanwhile, 50 reportedly hinted at a documentary, something in the vein of Surviving T.I. and Tiny. Rumors started circulating about it online. King Harris allegedly begged 50 to delete it after watching portions. The Harris family was reportedly shaken. Whether the documentary is real in production or just another 50 Cent mind game, the damage was already done in the court of public opinion. And that's the cruelest part of this whole beef. T.I. came out firing. He gave it everything he had. Multiple tracks, multiple videos, real bars, real emotion. But the culture had already moved. The narrative was set, and no amount of diss records was going to change the fact that most of the internet had already decided who won this exchange before the first bar was even spit. 50 Cent has $150 million, a television empire, and the A of the algorithm. T.I. has bars and pride. And in 2026, the algorithm wins every time. This whole situation essentially proved what the viral "somebody check on T.I." track was already saying. The buzz is gone. The relevance has shifted. And when you're in a war with someone who controls the narrative better than you do, you're not fighting a person. You're fighting a machine. And it gets even wilder when you zoom out and look at everything else happening around T.I. simultaneously. Because the 50 Cent beef wasn't the only fire burning. It was just the loudest one. Let's talk about the Sabrina Peterson situation. Because this one has been simmering for years and it's about to boil over. Sabrina Peterson, an Atlanta entrepreneur and social media figure, has been at war with T.I. and Tiny for a long time now. She posted allegations on Instagram claiming T.I. was under federal investigation for sex trafficking. Heavy allegations, the kind that don't just disappear. T.I. denied everything, called it propaganda. He filed a defamation lawsuit against Peterson in December 2024, claiming she falsely accused him to damage his reputation. Peterson fired back with her own suit, claiming defamation, invasion of privacy, and emotional distress. Her case mostly fell apart. A judge dismissed the majority of it. Peterson was even held in contempt at one point during the proceedings. But here's the thing. T.I.'s lawsuit against her is still very much alive. Reports confirm that a trial date has been officially set for June 2026. That means while all this beef with 50 Cent is playing out, while the internet is making songs about his disappearance, T.I. is also preparing to go to trial over some of the most serious allegations a person can face. And even though no criminal charges were ever filed, even though T.I. has maintained his innocence throughout, the allegations alone have stained the perception. People online still reference them. They still pop up in comment sections. They still get mentioned in every breakdown of T.I.'s fall from grace. Because on the internet, an allegation lives forever, whether it's proven or not. Then there's the situationships controversy. T.I. got hit with an intellectual property theft lawsuit over an upcoming movie he's been developing. A web series producer claims T.I. stole the title and concept. Another legal battle. Another headline that isn't about music. And the comedy thing, let's really talk about that for a second. CBS News ran a feature on T.I.'s shift from rap to stand-up. He's been performing at Helium Comedy Club in Alpharetta, doing sets about aging, his rap career, spirituality. He talked about Ramadan. He talked about why he stepped away from music. And some people have actually said his comedy sets are decent. But the internet doesn't grade on effort. The internet grades on narrative. And the narrative right now is that T.I. went from filling arenas as the King of the South to doing open mics at a comedy club in the suburbs. Whether that's fair or not doesn't matter. Because perception, once again, is reality. And the perception right now is that this is a man who lost his grip on the thing that made him legendary, and is desperately searching for a new identity before the old one finishes crumbling. Fans online have been debating this nonstop. Some defend him. They point to his catalog, his influence, the fact that without T.I., there's no Future, no Young Thug in the same way, no modern Atlanta sound as we know it. He built the blueprint. Others say none of that matters if you can't keep up. Hip-hop is a young man's sport. And T.I. is 4 to 5 years old, trying to stay relevant in an industry that replaces legends before they even finished saying goodbye. And this story goes way beyond just one rapper from Atlanta. What we're witnessing with T.I. is actually a case study in something the whole culture needs to reckon with. The shelf life of relevance. And how fast the internet can rewrite your legacy if you're not careful. Think about it. T.I. didn't commit some catastrophic career-ending scandal in a single moment. There was no one incident that ended him. Instead, it was a slow erosion. Legal trouble after legal trouble. Controversy after controversy. Each one chipping away at the foundation. Each one giving the internet more ammunition. And eventually, the weight of it all just became too much for the brand to carry. And the internet accelerated it. That's the part that should scare every artist watching this. Because in the old days, before social media, before TikTok, before algorithms decided who mattered, an artist like T.I. could have taken a few years off, come back with a strong album, and reclaimed his throne. That's how it worked. Jay-Z did it. Eminem did it. The blueprint for comebacks was well established. But that blueprint doesn't work anymore. Because now the internet doesn't just forget you. It actively buries you. The algorithm stops pushing your content. The playlist curators drop your name. The young listeners don't even know who you are. And before you can mount a comeback, you become a "where are they now?" video on some random YouTube channel. That's what happened to T.I. And it's a warning to every artist who thinks their legacy is secure. It's not. Not anymore. One bad stretch, a few quiet years, a couple of legal headlines, a beef you didn't win, and the internet will turn you into a meme before you even realize what happened. The bigger conversation here is about how we consume people. Because T.I. isn't just a rapper who fell off. He's a human being with a family who's watching his entire life get dissected by strangers. We turned his wife into a meme. We turned his son's pain into content. We turned his career decline into a viral song. And we did it all while sitting behind screens, never once considering that there are real people on the other end of those tweets. And let's keep it completely real. The culture that T.I. helped build is the same culture that's consuming him right now. Trap music, the Atlanta sound, the raw, unfiltered, no-holds-barred energy of Southern hip-hop. He helped create a machine that values relevance above everything else. And now that machine has decided he's no longer relevant. There's something almost poetic about that. Tragic, but poetic. The question isn't really whether T.I. fell off. Everybody with eyes can see the trajectory. The question is whether falling off means your entire contribution gets erased. Does a bad chapter erase a legendary book? Should 5 quiet years cancel out 2 decades of dominance? The internet seems to think so. But history might have a different opinion. Because 50 years from now, when people study the evolution of hip-hop, T.I.'s name will be in that conversation. Whether his monthly listeners are up or down right now won't matter. The foundation he built will still be standing, even if he isn't standing on it anymore. So where does all of this go from here? Because this story is far from over. In fact, it might just be getting started. The defamation trial with Sabrina Peterson is set for June 2026. That means T.I. is going to be in a courtroom, under oath, addressing allegations that have haunted him for years. Regardless of the outcome, that trial is going to generate headlines. And in the current climate, with the 50 Cent beef still simmering, with the memes still circulating, with his relevance already in question, those headlines are going to land different than they would have 5 years ago. People are already speculating about what 50 Cent will do during the trial. Will he live stream reactions? Will he post about it? Will he use footage in his alleged documentary? The internet is bracing for it like it's a season finale. And then there's the money question. The $71 million verdict that got slashed to $18 million? Reports say T.I. and Tiny are fighting to get the punitive damages reinstated. A judge actually reversed the decision at one point and brought back the $53 million before it got cut again. The legal back and forth on this case is still ongoing, which means the financial picture for the Harris family is anything but settled. Some people online are speculating that T.I. might have to come out of retirement, not because he wants to, but because he needs to. If the lawsuit money doesn't materialize fully, if the tax situation isn't resolved, if the comedy career doesn't scale, what's left? The man has 7 children, a lifestyle built during peak fame, and financial obligations that don't care whether you're relevant or not. Others are speculating about a comeback album, a real one, not a Lucy or a diss track, but a full project designed to remind the world who he is. And honestly, if T.I. channeled all of this, the beef, the humiliation, the legal battles, the family drama, into a raw, honest album, that could be something special. Pain makes the best music, and T.I. has more pain right now than most artists get in a lifetime. But the window is closing. Every day that passes without a move is another day the narrative solidifies. Another day the internet decides he's finished. Another day, the memes replace the memories. And at some point, the window closes entirely. The culture moves on. The algorithm buries the name. And the King of the South becomes a footnote instead of a headline. The clock is ticking, Tip. And the whole internet is watching. So there it is. The full picture. From the viral diss track asking, "Somebody check on T.I." to the 50-cent beef that set the internet on fire. From the $71 million payday that got chopped in half to the defamation trial that's coming this summer. From the comedy club stages in Alpharetta to the Reddit threads declaring the King of the South dethroned. This story has everything. Rise, fall, ego, pride, family, loyalty, betrayal, money, and the cold, unforgiving nature of an internet that will celebrate you one day and bury you the next. And it's still unfolding. More details are dropping. More legal filings are surfacing. The trial is approaching. And if the 50-cent beef taught us anything, it's that this situation can escalate at any moment. One post, one track, one interview, and the whole thing explodes again. So drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Do you think T.I. can actually make a comeback? Or has the culture permanently moved on? And do you think 50 Cent crossed the line by going after Tiny and the kids? Or is everything fair in rap beef? I want to hear your take, because this community always has the sharpest analysis on situations like this. And I know y'all have opinions. Make sure you smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. And turn on notifications because we are covering every twist that comes out of this story. Every court date. Every diss track. Every social media meltdown. You do not want to miss what happens next. I appreciate every single one of you for rocking with me. Real talk. This channel doesn't exist without your support. And I don't take that for granted. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. And remember, in the age of the internet, your legacy isn't what you built. It's what people decide to remember. So build something worth remembering. Peace.